Perfect. Okay, here we go, guys. So, um, we are going to walk through today one of the easiest things that you guys can do to help yourself get more leads for your local business, which is the Google Business Profile. So, I'm going to walk through a real life example right here, right now, and give you all the goods of what I've done to work with local companies and local businesses and how they operate to get more leads from that Google Business Profile. So, without further ado, I mean, we're going to dive right in because listen, I'm all about trying to give you guys the absolute best information you can possibly find on this kind of stuff. So let's share my screen here and we're really going to rock and roll on this as much as we can. So one of the clients that I work with, I've intentionally picked one that's out of state for me, which is Bamboo Pest Control. They're out of Washington. And so here we are. We're going to really dive in with what it is that they have been doing. And just to give you because right in the beginning here, I want you to know this stuff works. Let me show it to you in terms of performance. So it is currently July 8th. So we don't have any data for July. So we're going to go February through June as to how things have gone for them. So we have an increase compared to last year, nice increase compared to last year, big increase compared to last year. Okay. If you look at individually, February, March aren't really the best times anyway. If you just look at June, I mean, a good chunk of increase there, really great increase there, really great increase there. Okay. So things are moving very well for them. And if you look, the biggest things we've really increased for them, people viewing their business profile, 49%, and 59% for views and showing. And look at the content. This business obviously does very well on its own. And then the next three are all, hey, local people that don't know who they're looking for. Looking for pest control near me, pest control service. That's what we want, right? Like that's the kind of things we're looking for with this Google Business Profile. Here is an example of how we are helping to do it and why it's working so well. All right, first things first, I did create a little guide on this. If you have not set one of these up yet, you really need to, and you need to get on this immediately. You will have to obviously answer if you're a physical address, as in a place that a customer can actually show up to your business, or if you're a service business where you will go to the customer and they cannot come to you. Okay. Either one of those is fine. Both have a slightly different verification process. So if that's you, you need to go through that process and get that done. Just follow along with the steps. Honestly, go to, set up a Google Business Profile, look it up. It's very, very simple. Just walk through the steps. Have all your documentation ready to go. If you have a truck wrap, have a truck wrap. If you have business cards, have business cards. If you have like some kind of a utility bill of some sort, something that can verify, like a phone bill or whatever, that you can verify that the business name has a physical location, even if you're a service business, right? So if you were, let's say, operating out of your home, maybe you have a phone bill that can show business name, this address. That way you can still verify, hey, yes, I do service this area, right? You need something like that. Okay. Verification purposes, I just mentioned all that stuff. So optimizing, first things first, can you put a major keyword into your business name somehow? Now, this is a little bit gray in terms of, some people choose not to do it because you are a little bit operating in the gray. So if their name was, for example, Bamboo Servicing, right? And I change it to Bamboo Pest Control Servicing, they're going to have better rankings for pest control with the name of the service in there. Do not put a city name in here at all unless it is actually part of your business name, like on the business license, right? Or business DBA, whatever. Google does not like city names in there, but you'll need to be able to prove that you have the city name in your actual business, right? So for example, if you were Chicago Pest Control Inc., I'm going off of complete craziness here. You need to be able to prove with an actual business license and probably a link to the online directory within the state of Illinois, like, Secretary of State, that business name is you. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, because that's really crossing the line of trying to stuff keywords. So, but if you can get a major keyword in there, go for it. All right. List all of your services in order from most important to least important. So if you look at our services here, their primary is obviously pest control, which makes a ton of sense. And then you've got all these additional, I would say, mini services within pest control. So everything that can fit within pest control, you do it. Mosquito prevention, mosquito program, mosquito everything in here you can do. You can add another business category. So for example, you need a different client. They are a roofing client. Okay. They do roofing, siding, windows, and I think gutters. Okay. They do 4 services. Those are 4 separate services. You can physically type in this type of services, right? If I were to type in roofing, you see roofing contractor, you'd click that. If I did siding, siding contractor, I'd click that. If I did window, I'd click probably window. You see, there's a couple different options, right? Installation service, probably. Pick the ones that make the most sense for your business. And if you just type it in, honestly, just try. But here's the thing. When you do your profile, okay, you have a primary service and you can have up to, I think, 20 secondary services. The primary service will drive the majority of your leads. So pick the primary one very carefully. What do you want the most of? What is most important to your business? That will get the bulk of what you have. And if that main service can align with the business name in terms of the main keyword, double points for you. That's a big thing. Okay. Next, you'll have your description. Here in the description, try to hit your main 1 to 2 categories. You don't want to stuff this thing. If you've got, let's say, if you're a GC, a general contractor, and you do roofing, siding, windows, gutters, fascia, you do bathroom remodeling, you do kitchen remodeling, you do foundation restoration, you're up to 8 things. You're not going to be able to fit all 8 things into this description. Pick 1, 2, maybe 3, and write out a piece of content that also mentions those services and a couple of cities that you service. Probably the top 2 or 3 most important ones. Just list them once. That's really all you need. Okay. Opening date, self-explanatory. When did you open? Month and year is fine. Phone number. If you want to add chat, I'd recommend it, but some businesses can't do that. If you need software that can help you with that, highly recommend getting software that can help you with that. I've got one. If you need that, let me know. Business website, social media profiles. They have an actual physical office that people can come visit. So we have an address listed here. If you are a service business, you will not have this, but you will also be able to put your service area in no matter what. Always put your service area in by city. All of them you can fit. You can fit up to 20 in here. Put 20 in there. Start as close to your business as you can and slowly work your way out. Okay. Business hours, get these spot on. Whatever they are, put them in there. If you're closed on weekends, close on weekends. Okay. Special hours, this is typically for holidays. Don't need to worry about that. These are also for more restaurant-y type things. If you're a service business, you can add those if you want. And then additional things more from the business, right? Are you identifying as any of these? Okay. Veteran owned, women owned, anything you can do if you can do them. Okay. Accessibility, right? Do you have accessible restrooms, eating? They're not really that kind of thing. The crowd, all this stuff, parking they don't need, planning, all the service options, all this stuff. Okay. So if you can do those, do them. Okay. You see offer online estimates is the thing that can do. That is completely filling out this puppy as much as possible. Do that as well as you can. When you're doing your services, if you want to add more content into here, feel free. You have content you can add, type some stuff in. Again, try to hit main points. This would be ant extermination, but it kind of covers everything they want. Maybe ant removal, ant prevention. It's all in there. Okay. Don't put cities in here. Do not put locations at all. Google will flag that and you'll get in trouble. Okay. If you have products, highly recommend you put products, right? If you have physical products. Sometimes you can even sneak a service as a product in here. So for example, if you were to do a free inspection of their home and you want to toss that in there, right? And get the product in there, get 1 or 2 in there, you're good. Questions and answers, highly recommend you toss a couple of them in here. You don't need probably 3 or 4. And so people got ticked off at them here. You can also use this from a different profile and ask a couple of questions about the business, about what do you do, where do you do it, things like that. And then the biggest things are getting reviews, right? Reviews are massively important for the business. As you see, we have worked very hard on their business to get 768 reviews with a 4.9 rating. This is extremely important. Focus on getting reviews as much as you can and bring them into your profile. If you need help with that, let me know, but you need to automate that as much as possible to just send out review requests every time somebody uses your service. I'm going to hit them 3 or 4 or 5 times to say, can you please leave us a review? Can you please leave us a review? Yada, yada, things like that. Get reviews, automate that process. We have tools that can do that now. Get that done. Okay. So, all right, that kind of covers the majority of this stuff. If you ever here's the thing. Once you have the initial setup done and it's going live, don't touch this thing for at least a week. Okay. If it's brand new, Google needs a few minutes, and I say a minute, I mean like weeks, to really let that thing sink into their system. If it's brand new and you're touching it a bunch and you're playing with it and tinkering with it, it might get suspended just because you're playing with it too much. Okay. Leave it alone for a little bit. Same thing if you make major changes. Okay. Anytime you make major changes within a profile, it will tell you, hey, your update should be ready to go in 10 minutes or maybe a day, depending on what it is. Every time you make a change, don't touch it for a week. Let it sit. Let it sit. Okay. All right. Updates and posting. Here's a big thing. Asking questions, like I said, adding updates in there, right? Updates are right here. Add an update, add an update. Content, image, button. I would always do learn more. Link back to important things. So what do I mean by that? An update should focus on your location and the service you provide. So for this bamboo, it'd be pest control in XYZ city. And 2 or 3 times a week, we're going to be mentioning a different pest control thing we're doing in different areas that they service. And as you see, you're only going to be able to really stretch this thing so far. They're in Kent, Washington. Okay. So if I stretch this out, you're not going to be able to really truly reach forever, right? They've got good reach because here's their heat map right here. They've got good reach, and we're working on expanding this thing a little bit north and south as we get farther away. But in reality, I'm not going to be able to get all too far into, let's say, Renton. Okay. That's probably not going to go too well for me. Maybe a little bit of Burien. If you look over here, maybe a little bit into Fairwood, we can sneak it, but I am definitely never getting up into Newcastle. That's way too far away. Okay. So focus on, I would say in the beginning, getting the first, this is, I think, what is this? A 6 mile radius around the business, something like that. Get the first 5 or 6 mile radius around your business locked in. Post 2 or 3 times every single week, talking about the location somewhere in the 5 mile radius of your business and the fact that your service is there. Add a relevant and unique image every time. If you have images, get them. If you don't have images, start getting them right now. Start putting a folder together, either on a Dropbox folder or in a Google folder, and start collecting images immediately. With getting that, you can leverage it in so many different ways, but unique photos, Google likes them. Add a unique photo to this every single time. Okay. Post a couple times a week. Use ChatGPT if you don't have anything. I got a nice little prompt for you here. If you have blog articles, highly recommend you link to blog articles. Okay. Go back. There we go. Right. If you don't have blog articles, then always just link to your homepage. Okay. Always put the learn more button and a link. Add in some content. You have 1,500 characters. You have an image, and bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to go. Okay. If you need examples on that, let me know, but that's pretty solid. You want to post directly on this profile because this is Google's platform. Google is now getting exactly the information they need to talk about what do you do, where do you do it, and you're doing it consistently on the same platform that Google is trying to show you on. That's a win-win-win scenario. Okay. So those are the major things you need to go through to get some solid growth in your Google Business Profile, right? So just to recap, questions, updates, reviews. Reviews, reviews, reviews. If you can sneak a key, always reply to reviews as well. Okay, when people leave you reviews, reply to them. Reply to them. Reply to them. Reply to them as much as you can. If you can get a keyword in there, pest control, that's a great thing. If you can get a location in there because you know that a certain person lives in a certain area, toss a location in there, right? Anything you can do to get a little bit more out of it would be ideal in this situation, okay? So get reviews, automate that process as much as possible. Leverage tools nowadays. There's so many great tools. If you don't have one, let me know. I will help you get a tool set up that you can automate at least the review process as much as humanly possible. Okay? That's kind of it, guys. Those are the main things I have for you. I like to keep these lives real short and sweet and power packed with information because I know everyone's time's busy. You know what I mean? I'm here to give you value as much as I can. I'm here to provide information on what you need to do to help your business grow. I want you to succeed. I love helping local businesses, service businesses, you name it, remodelers, contractors. I am here to help as much as I physically can with you guys. Hit me up if you got questions. Hit me up if you need something. But yeah, we're just trying to give back and have some fun. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.